simple walk, love that grows through daily steps. Wesleyan, hope moves us on, grace that heals, lives made new, holiness that carries through. Evangelical zeal gives voice, good news shared, clear and kind, light sent out for all to find. 200 years, one living tree, Jesus first in everything, scripture read with open eyes, community shaped by love. Watch our tradition shape our way, one tree growing strong today, trunk of faith and branches wide, Christ our guide, our joy, our stride. For tradition shape our way, one tree growing strong today, trunk of faith and branches wide, Christ our guide, our joy, our stride. Still we rise, yeah. Still we shine. Oh, woke up to the sunlight on my face. Storm is gone, left a better place. We lost some things, but not our smile. We've been strong all this while. All this.
Every tear just made us grow. Now the island's heart still glows.
Still we rise, still we sing. One love, one live, everything. One world, one heart, one song. Jamaica strong, we carry on.
Jamaica strong, heart so bright. One love, one need, one style. Still we rise, still we fight.
People dancing on the sand again. Music healing every pain. Hands up high, we feel the beat. Hope alive in every street. No fear, no cry, we reach the sky. Together we shine, together we grow. That's how the island
Love.
we show.
Still we rise.
Still we rise, still we sing. One love, one live, everything. No matter rain or hurricane, we rise again, we rise again.
We rise again. Still we rise. Still we rise.
This one goes to all the Rasta brothers and sisters out there. Look at you, you know. Yeah, man, yeah, man, yeah, man. Hey, let's go. In the streets we be vibing, feeling irate. Rasta man chanting, Babylon can't tie we. Through the struggle we rise, never weary. Your blessing every move we legendary. From Kingston to Montego Bay we roam. Chilling on the corner we building a home. Ganja in on me and me never walk alone. With reggae in the heart we feel right at home. My brethren, my sister, we unite as one. Against the system we not back down, we won. Them oppress us us, but we run through the fire, through the storm, we always overcome. Rasta revolution, Jah light shining bright. Reggae hip hop vibes, chanting through the night. From the streets of Jamaica to every satellite, we representing realness in this fight. Them try to stop we, but we not giving.
Come on back in. Come on back in. We're going to get started with the afternoon session. Hey, Mike. Good to see you, Mike. The BIC Nomad. If you're out in the foyer, we're going to start our afternoon session. It's going to be much like the morning. We're going to have an hour presentation from Kenny. We'll have some Q&A with Kenny, and then we'll have some table discussions, and we'll bring it all to an end by 3 p.m. as we promised to do for you. As you get on the highway, sit on the 401 on your way home. So I'm just curious, I guess, how do you feel? How many of you feel overwhelmed? Put up your hand if you feel overwhelmed. Okay, well, not everyone's hands up, Kenny. You still have some work to do to overwhelm the rest of us here. But that's...
Who's bored?
What's that?
Who's bored?
Who's bored? No, not boring at all. Very clear presentation. Thanks, Kenny, for coming and making sense of this for us. We really appreciate it. You're a really good communicator. And I'll turn it over to you. Thank you.
Awesome. Welcome back. Hopefully, if you need an afternoon nap, maybe this is the time to do it. During lunch, I decided to go to the Be in Christ website, and I was exploring your traditions, and I was like, oh, maybe we can make a theme song. I made a song about the contemporary core values. There's 10 core values in Be in Christ, apparently. So we made a song about the core values. There's a reggae theme song, if you guys are reggae rap, the 4 traditions. Even there was a Taylor Swift version. Maybe we should play one. Should we play one of these? Let's see. Let's try the reggae rap version. Reggae rap.
Anabaptist roots run deep in our story. Jesus at the center. Community as a home. Reconciliation as our cry. For tradition shape our way. One tree growing strong today. Trunk of faith and branches wide. Christ our guide, our joy, our stride.
I mean, we could get to a point where we create a theme song that everybody wants to sing together at some point. The whole point is, look, there's some novelty to this, and I think this is the part where's Mike? The big guy. I'm a big deal here, Mike. And so we were having a conversation here where I think this is overwhelming. We have to be careful about it. The thing that I want to caution everybody is one of the things that's very easy to risk is think of it as, oh, we're going to replace something that I do, right? And a lot of times it is a time saver. But I will tell you, for the most part, for many things, it actually is not a time saver. So when I'm writing an article for Church Tech Today or some other, I just got published in the National Evangelical Association magazine. When we're writing an article, the impulse is to use ChatGPT or Claude and just save time, spit it out, send it out. And I will say in my workflow and practices, it actually is now taking more time to write with the AI tools than I would have done on my own. It's a little upside down. But I do think my work product is much deeper, has more insights, is able to cite more sources. I have an intern team of research that's coming back to me. And one of the things that Mike and I talked about is the importance of relationships, right? The point of our ministry is not to become so efficient that you push buttons and things go out and things happen. It is, how do I actually get more time, right? How do we turn the hourglass and spend more time with the people in my community? That, at the end of the day, is the goal for everything here. And I think there's a lot of, and we don't have time to go through it today, but we do like monthly workshops online, and we have other places that you can learn. But we do have things that we're trying to explore with actual practitioners of how do you actually use AI to save the time so you can spend more time with your people. So I'll just give you one example, Mike, that just came to my mind, is we did something in a research, in a workshop, live workshop, where we had someone upload their giving data for the last year. We anonymized and uploaded it to Google Sheets, and then applied ChatGPT and said, identify all the regular givers, right? And so who are the regular givers in our community? And for that pastor, I think he said, for some reason, it was like, if they gave 18 or more times in a year, right, 18 transactions, then we would consider them as, part of the tribe and regular givers. And then for everyone that qualifies, identify what their average giving is, right? So they're giving on a regular basis, and you know what their average giving is. And then we looked at the last quarter, the last 3 months. Same thing, those people, what's the average giving? And then we compare it. And so the last year's giving for average giver, and then we asked, identify the people who give normally, but then their giving plummeted by 75% or more, right? So either they went to zero or something happened. So that's a smaller list. And why does someone's giving go from regular, they're a consistent giver, they're committed to the ministry, and then they plummet all of a sudden? Why? Well, it's either your preaching pissed them off on a Sunday, right? Yeah, you feel it, Yeah, right? It's either that, or what's the real, most common reason? It's not because of you. It's not, sometimes we're like, this is me, I'm the pastor, and this is the world. The whole world revolves around me, right? No, that's not the case. The case is it's the person. There's something going on in their story. And so usually it is, did they lose their job? Or do they have stress at home with their spouse? Do they have problems with their kids? Is there a health issue, right? There's something going on that has disrupted their behavior. They were committed to your ministry, and then somehow they disrupted their giving as well, right? That's a leading indicator or a lagging indicator maybe of something that's happening in their life. So now that you have AI to be able to analyze that, then you can have, it's typically a short list, unless you really bombed one Sunday, right? There's a short list. Now, you can then go into your system and say, are they volunteering? Are they in counseling? Who's the relationship? Are they in a small group? Like, who's the relationship that they have with the most? And then you can send that person out for a coffee or a meal or a visit or something, right? And then you're able to be the church, to sit with someone, to have the presence, and then to surface what's going on. Right? Now, if you're an executive pastor or a finance person, you just want the money back to keep on coming back. But the way to do that is not to bring up the money. The way to do that is actually to love them, to embrace them, and to figure out how you can support them. And so, that's just one example, I think, of, can you do that now? Absolutely. Do you do that regularly? No. And can AI make that push button simple where it's a routine and you get something going, that you do that on a quarterly basis or every other month or something like that and see what happens? Yes. There's many ways to do things where AI is going to help us figure out what are the opportunities that we don't do now that actually surface those relational opportunities that are right in front of us, right under our noses. And if we just seize them, that they're ours for life, right? So that's just one quick example. We're going to go into the second session, and what I want to do is I want to go through a very practical pathway. And this one is we're really going to, I want to get to Q&A, and we're going to buckle our seatbelts, because I'm going to really rapidly go through these things so that you guys see, what these tools can offer. So there's over 1,000 tools that have been launched over the last quarter, over 1,000 AI-specific tools. There's no way that you and I can learn all of them together. And so that's what our team has been doing. And I've tried to boil it down to 7 tools that I think everyone in this room should be exposed to, that have applications in ministry contexts. And I would hope that at least one of them would inspire you to try them out today at some point, right? Today or this weekend. Put it on your calendar. Like, actually do it right now. Pull out your phone and put half an hour block on your calendar in the next couple of days. And actually play with one or two of these tools. And I think this is going to be eye-opening, because there's a difference between seeing it on the screen and actually making it happen on your screen, okay? So let's go through them quickly. The first tool, on a very practical basis, is AI meeting note takers. Who here does not have any meetings in your work, right? Everyone has meetings, death by meeting, Zoom meetings, team meetings, in-person meetings. There's tons of meetings. Well, now you have AI note takers that will come to your meeting, take copious notes, they'll transcribe the whole meeting, they will synthesize the notes, organize them, and even keep track of all the to-dos and assignments, right? And so this is something that I think everybody should be able to have. Fathom is a great tool, fathom.video. Another one that I like is Granola. And so what you can do is, what I do every Sunday is I'll open up my phone, open up the Granola app, press record, it will record the sermon, and then I can do anything I want with that. It will summarize it, but a lot of times, actually, so I go to the 9 o'clock, and my small group leader goes to the 11 o'clock, and so this is the first time this weirded him out. So I recorded it, and by the time I got to the parking lot, all I did is I talked into my phone, dictated, can you take this transcript and create a study guide for the discussion that we will have on Wednesday in our small group about this sermon. Surface, open-ended questions, not trite, superficial things where Jesus is the correct answer, and just create a flow, right? And then with each question, can you reference what was said by Pastor Christian in the question for context? It spit it out. I texted it to Tommy, who's our small group leader, before he even got to church for the 11 o'clock. And he was like, what is this? He had no idea what it was. And then later he realized, he said during the service, he realized it was a message from the future. And it had, it had all the questions and discussion guides. And he's now starting to use that for our groups. But anyway, so AI note takers are the future. Everyone should be using these things. So this is my Fathom app. And let's see if so all my Zoom calls and stuff are being recorded. And the great thing is, because it's being recorded and it has the transcript, right? It is the perfect intern that wrote down every word that was said by everyone. Now I can no longer have fights with my team, he said, she said, because I'll assume that I told Tiffany to do something and she didn't get it done the way I told her. I said, there's a gap. And she would say, you didn't say that, or you told me something else. We'll go back to the transcript and typically prove that I'm wrong and she's right. Right? And so it does surface just like, oh, my memory is typically broken. So you can go into any one of these, and you can actually, so this is a ministry roundtable. We actually have a call every month with C-suite leaders of nonprofit ministries, and we want to trade notes. And so the format of the meeting to be invited is, you want to share one thing that's working in your ministry, one thing that's working well, right? You want to trade notes. And these leaders can talk forever, so we say you can only give one slide and you have 2 minutes. Get to the point. One slide, 2 minutes, and then we have 3 minutes of Q&A in and out. So it's rapid fire. The whole point is leaders are busy. Let's get stuff going, and then later you can follow up and cross-pollinate and have those relationships. If I hear something Todd said really good, then I want to follow up. So it's rapid fire, and you kind of forget, right? Because there's like 10 things that happen. Well, now you have not just the actual summary of the meeting. You actually have the full transcript of everything that everyone said, but you have your intern. And so now the intern, you can say, Joe said 3 points, which I forgot. He had 2 points that I remember. 3 points he shared. What were they? Right? And so what we'll do is we'll go back to the transcript as if the intern was the perfect note taker, has perfect memory. And then it's going to say, hey, Joe actually said 1, 2, and 3, right? And then you can click on it, and it's going to actually go directly to that point of the meaning for the video playback of what it was said, right? And then this is a chatbot, so I can say, hey, create a slide outline to teach these 3 points. And then, right, because it's like ChatGPT or anything like that, built into this note-taking tool, right? So this is where everything gets recorded, and it's fantastic. There are other tools. Another one is called Granola that I like. And Fathom, this is a specific invite tool, invite QR code that gives you 2 full months of the pro version to test out for Fathom. Their trial, I think, publicly, I think is like 14 days, but like this one gives you 60 days to try it out. I actually think if you try it out, you'll start to get addicted, and you'll see how helpful it is to have things on record. The other way to do it is you don't need to be in every meeting. So if someone from your team actually has Fathom join the meeting, you can later ask for the highlights or just ask, what Mike said, because what Kenny says is garbage, but what Mike says is gold. So just focus on what Mike said and summarize that kind of stuff, right? And so that is the intern tool that you're gonna love, and it just gets better and better of all the things that they can do. Granola is another app. It is a mobile version. Otter, O-T-T-E-R, Otter is another one where it's a mobile app, so you can bring it to offline meetings, and you can record it there. So I've been in Starbucks and have meetings with people so you remember everything, especially in places where people are talking about resources or books or other things about their personal life and details. You can now record it and then have memories of those things. Okay, the next one is Agenda Hero. I think most people know what the Chrome browser is. It's the most popular browser. They have these extensions that allow you to do these things. Agenda Hero is a Chrome browser extension. And so recently, Todd sent me this. This is the run sheet for today. Or you have a lot of calendar items, right? So if my kids used to play soccer and field hockey, so you get the team schedule, or right? There's all these things you want to put on your calendar. And if you had to put my kids' soccer team schedule one by one, you have to open up the calendar and go and input that. Who knows that life? Who's ever had to do that kind of stuff, right? And so now I have a Chrome extension that I can open up Agenda Hero. And I'm using the free version, so you don't even need to use the paid version. And so I'm like, oh, this afternoon, I want it on my calendar because I'd like to know what's going on. So you can actually copy paste this and put it in here. You can upload a PDF. If you had this is a PDF, I could have uploaded. Well, here in the browser, I just need to take a screenshot. So let's say everything after lunch, right? I'm just going to click that. The AI reads it, has computer vision, so it reads everything, contextualizes it, understands that I want to put it into calendar invites, and now one by one, it is creating individual calendar events on my Google Calendar, right? So it created 7 things. It even says, voila, right? And so you can actually change this, like be in Christ, right? We could edit, do anything you want. You can add things. Lunch, right? And then add all of them to Google. You can even, if you have multiple calendars, you can add them to different calendars. And then you click add, and it's done, right? You go to the calendar, and you can see, right? Table discussions, Q&A, all these things are added to my calendar now. The great part about this also is that you could create a public calendar out of this, meaning all of this could go to a page, and then you could share that link with someone else. So like if Todd created an agenda for all these events for today, he could share the Agenda Hero link, the URL, has the page, and then all of you could have gone to that page and clicked and instantly added all the events to your own calendars. It supports Outlook, it supports ICS, it supports everything. So this is a free tool. That's a super intern type of a tool, I think, that everyone could utilize at some point. Next one is Whisperflow. Siri is broken. Alexa is broken. They're trying to fix it, but they're not fast enough. Dictation is the superpower. We type at 35, 45, 55 words per hour. Does anyone know? So words per minute. Some people per hour. Who's a fast typer? Who's the fastest typer? Do you know your words per minute? How much? 85 words per minute. Yeah. Sarah, how fast are you? 103. She's a fast typer, right? I bet, though, you talk faster than you type. And so dictation is the superpower that lets you get things done. Now, there used to be all these tools like Dragon Voice and all this stuff where Bill Gates was talking about, until dictation gets to 97% or better, it's not really helpful. Because like you dictate and then you got to go fix it. You dictate, you got to go fix it. There are tools now that are using AI, and they're incredible. So like Whisperflow is one of the tools I'm using. There's a couple of them out there. And basically, you can put it on your phone, as well as any place that has a keyboard. So I don't know if this is going to work, because I think I'm hooked into their, Google.com, right? And so it literally, it picked up what I typed. So whether you're texting, emailing, etc. Now, it could be contextually aware also of different modalities. So if you want texting to be much more informal, right? You can even do no caps. All the young ones don't do caps, right? And so when you're in your messaging app, it could have a very casual tone to it. If you're in your email app, it could be very formal. If you're in a presentation, it could be structured with bullet points. And so there's all these modalities that you can add to the stuff. And so the great part, though, is because this is where Siri and Alexa fail, is that I will dictate something on my phone or here. It passes it through ChatGPT first to clean it up, to organize it. So basically, I can word vomit. I can just say things out of order, and then it passes it through AI. It will create order out of it, and then let you put it into whatever text box. And because it's agnostic of where you are, it's wherever the cursor is, every single app that you are using now has the ability to have this. And so Whisperflow, there's a whole bunch of others, but this is just one of those things that I think is the future of everything. We are going to be in a voice AI. Conversational AI is the phrase of category of things that you're going to be learning. Now, when Siri and Alexa get an upgrade, Alexa is being upgraded right now. Some people have early access. I have early access to it. It now is much more conversational and is a little bit smarter, right? So I can tell Alexa, hey, can you go to my calendar, tell me what are the next 3 things on my calendar are for the day. It'll come back. And so that is the future, where we are going to be like Star Trek, and we're just going to talk to computer and start to do things, okay? And so this has been an efficiency hack that is just much more powerful than most people think. Images, image generation, right? Is just crazy right now. We literally can do things with one snapshot and actually clone your image, or get text right, or I don't have 6 fingers and 12 hands and 3 toes and things like that, right? It gets things right at this point. So ideogram is one of the easier ones and the ones that I prefer. And if you look at my own gallery, right, so it gets the text right. And it's just one of those things that at the end of the day, you are now able to prompt with text, and it comes with anything that you are imagining. So this was an article that I was talking about. There was 6 books that were written, and it came up with the idea of making the actual headline of the article, part of a book, right? And so stock photography, I never would have been able to do this kind of stuff in the past without a graphic designer, and now this is something that you can do. So just to give you just an example of how easy it is to do that, right? So say, man on plane, looking out the window, next to him in the seat is a llama with a cowboy hat. I don't know. And then we can do character consistency. So you can find, I'll upload just one screenshot of myself and generate. What it does is it generates 4 at a time. There's different models, different fidelity. Let's see what happens. And again, this is the worst AI that you will experience for the rest of your life, right? This is only going to get better and better and better. And the fact that it's this quick, right? Is kind of wild, right? Okay, so sermon graphics, right? Sermon graphics is the easiest place to do. Your newsletters, your website, your articles, Bible verse posts, very easy to do. One of the things that we talk about cloning is sometimes you want to clone, but don't make it the central thing. So could you have pictures of me preaching on stage, but then that's ghosted behind a gradient, and then the Bible verse is laid all over on top of it. So it's not the primary piece of the image. It's not the purpose, right? So that's something now you can do at will, on demand, at scale. Teaching materials. I think now you can contextualize things for different audiences and different purposes. Same subject, and now you can repurpose stuff really rapidly because of imagery that gets accompanied. Video is the next thing. Social media, everyone is tight on time and resources, etc. Sermon Shots is a specific tool for churches. And so I just went to YouTube, I grabbed the YouTube link, put it into Sermon Shots, and immediately it transcribes it. And what's great about Sermon Shots, here, let me go to, just to show you. So if you wanted to create a new clip, this one allows you to square, horizontal, vertical. This is one of my favorite clips. There's over 1,000 different template designs that you can apply. I mean, it just keeps on going. They keep on adding and adding and adding, right? And so once you find the template that you like, let's just pick this one, it's gonna go in, and then the AI looks at the transcript, and it tries to identify and give you suggestions for 10 sweet spot clips that might have some engagements, right? So it understands dynamics of social. So on the left side, there's these 10. So you can pick any one of these. Purity of heart. When you focus on God, you start to see Him everywhere. And so now, what you can do is you can just you can look at this. You can delete stuff. You can edit the video by editing the text, right? So you don't need to be a video editor. So even here, have you ever noticed that once you made a decision about something, or maybe you learned, right? So you can even remove this. So I can move that up here. So now it's in the clip, right? You can do whatever you want. You go forward and basically, where is it? I already created this one. So this is just one example. Now, it also has AI because, like me, right? I'm all over the place. Sarah tapes markers on the stage and says, Kenny, you only should see this marker? You should not leave this. Right? And I already know Sarah knows me already, that I will not obey that command. I'm going to go out of the frame of the camera all the time. That's the problem. And for video editing, it's really hard, especially vertical videos, to do that kind of stuff. And so they have this thing called AI Camera Crew that follows face tracking automatically. You used to do that manually with video editing, and now it's not. You can add audio to it. You can put overlays. You can put your logo on there. There's all these things that you can do.
Cause us to lose sight of what really matters, and to lose sight of God, and to lose sight of God's hopes and dreams for us and the way that we relate to other people. And right in the middle are the verses that we just read.
Right? This is something now at scale. Again, you could do it in any square, horizontal,
and what Jesus knows
vertical.
is that our relationship to wealth, our relationship with our stuff, can easily cause us to...
Okay, so this is before I added the AI Camera Crew. So you see how he's chopped off and all that kind of stuff? So here you just add, you click on AI Camera Crew, and then it reanalyzes the entire video file that you give it, and then it will start to adjust based on centering the primary image across it. You can also do previews. So for social media, there's some no-nos of what you put, like the text. So you can say, oh, this is going to be on Facebook. Look at that. My text overlays, right? Can you see it? It's in the no zone. With Instagram is okay. With YouTube it was okay, right? So if I'm going to do this to Facebook, I probably want to move the captions, right? And then there's different style captions. There's all these kind of stuff. The other thing that I love about Sermon Shots is because it has your transcript, you can actually do tons of other things too. So for example, if we were to get a 5-day devotional and text out every single day something, or email out every day, you just click the one-click button and it creates a 5-day devotional for you. If you wanted a discussion guide, you actually then have a discussion guide with icebreakers that are themed to the sermon, the key verses, the questions, the life applications, the takeaway, ending prayer. If you want a blog article, well, then every church should have a blog article that then links back or embeds the sermon, right? So that's all here. If you wanted specific sermon image quotes, this same thing. You can actually have quote and verses and all that kind of stuff. So this is a super powerful tool where you're able to then take, again, all these different styles of formats and templates, and then you go in, and then we need to find the pastor. So let's go find him where he is off stage somewhere, or he's talking, right? So you don't want all of this in your social clip, right? So let's remove the background. It's going to upscale the image because it tends to be grainy sometimes on YouTube or when you post it. It's going to isolate him, and then you can import that into the background of your slide, your text over image, right? So there you go. You can modify that even further, and now you have, right? You have a social square that you can output. This is something that a volunteer can do, right? This is, again, this is something that you can do asynchronously. You can do it off-site. I think you can actually motivate people to get involved with ministry that typically wasn't. Sermon Shots is a great, great tool. With this QR code, you can actually get the Sermon Shots team will actually produce a couple of shots for you just so that you get some samples for free. So if you wanted to use this QR code to go, they will actually do a couple of sermon shots for you. You give them a link to one of your sermons, and then they'll create some social assets, the devotionals, all that kind of stuff, just so that you get to see with your own message and your own stuff so that you can actually, really evaluate it for yourself. Okay, the next one is the superpower. Has anyone here played or heard of Google Notebook LM? Any Notebook LMs? Yes. What have you done with it? What have you heard about it?
Yeah, I upload a bunch of resources on research notes, copywriting formulas, and say output an article based on the ADI
Yes.
copywriting formula, whatever.
So Google Notebook LM is made by Google, which means this is free. Everyone loves this budget. So you can go to notebooklm.google.com. You open it up, log into a Google account, etc. This also goes back to our question, Mike, in terms of is it theologically aligned to the stuff that I have, or is it just the whole internet, right? And so on the left-hand side, you have all these sources. So the idea is you open up a notebook, you put sources in there, and you can have multiple notebooks. So you can open up a notebook, and then you can start to add sources. Because it's Google, you can add anything from your Google Drive. You can add YouTube links. You can even add a website. It will read a website for you. Copy-paste text, PDFs, audio files, pretty much anything. And so this is where you can build a second brain. So, for example, I was talking with someone earlier today about Tim Keller. I love Tim Keller. She discovered that Tim Keller, there's a whole library of sermons. Well, I can take all the YouTube links of Tim Keller, put them in here, and now I have Tim Keller's brain over the shoulder of me. And I can reference, and I can just ask questions, and it's only going to use the sources that I've uploaded, right? And so you can upload your own history of sermons. You can upload, all these other people that you like and reference, or the historical greats, right? And then start to do things. It's a chatbot, so you can do whatever you want with those sources in particular. And once you upload them, imagine you've had 50 of them, you can actually even limit it. So you can just say, I want this one, I don't this one. I want every 4 of them, I want 10 of them. You can checkbox and limit it to just the resources in your notebook, right? This is a super intern. The great thing that this has is there's all these other things in the studio. And so it does many, many, many things. Back to my rant about church websites. I think every sermon archive page, right, your sermon where you put your full-length sermon, should have an FAQ and a glossary. Why? Because no matter how seeker-sensitive we are, you have Christian jargon in there that someone who hasn't read the Bible, hasn't been to church, they come to church and they don't know what you're talking about. Why not put a glossary of terms in there that is related to the sermon in the sermon page? Why not put an FAQ in there that has historical context, cultural context, or all these things that you would say to them if you were in a coffee shop talking about the sermon, but they're there alone on the internet. This tool provides FAQs and glossaries as well. They do quizzes and all. It's meant for academics, but you could use this for your own purposes. Now, one of the things, there's two things that this is super powerful. And again, this is free, and I would really venture for you, I would want you to really do that. I would venture to say that if you start to use this, you will be hooked. And that is, you can upload a sermon. So this is what I did. This is my sermon. I'm old. I'm about to die soon. By the time I get to Wednesday in my small group, I forgot the sermon, right? Sermon's on Sunday. I go to a small group with my wife, and sometimes I'm just like mute. I don't say anything all night because I forgot. I don't have anything good to say. I don't have the confidence, right? I don't play the sermon back. Well, now I record the sermon, I upload it here, and then I'll ask it to give me an overview. And I'll prompt it very specifically in the custom prompts. I will say, make me look smart. I don't want to look dumb. I want to be seen as a meaningful contributor to my small group. I'm going to my small group, and Pastor Christian has great stuff. I don't need an academic overview, comprehensive overview. I want you to predict, this is literally what I'm typing, I want you to predict what might come up in a small group discussion that talks about this week's sermon from Pastor Christian. Surface those, give me some insights, and make me look smart. Okay, so that's literally what I did. Here's an example of one of the outputs, and this one is 12 minutes. So in the time that I get in my car and drive with my wife to the small group, I'm all briefed, right? So this is the ideal scenario. And I want you to imagine as you listen to this, after you get over your shock and awe, that what if you actually did this on a weekly basis for your small group leaders? That you did a version of this for your small group leaders, and that you can give them some context clues or things that you want to stress or point out, right? Okay, here we go. Is it playing? Come on, internet. I don't know why. Let's try it one more time. Just when you think everything is going well. It was the worst ever. Okay. Here's a version that hopefully will work. Here we go.
Today, we're breaking down Pastor Christian's powerful sermon on trusting God's provision. It all starts with a very real modern-day crisis, a sudden demand for $10,000 in rent. And this demand created huge anxiety, perfectly framing the sermon's whole theme of need versus trust. Pastor Christian then links his own wilderness moment to the story of the Israelites in Exodus. Get this, just 1 month after their miraculous escape from slavery, the Israelites started complaining. You know, hunger totally twisted their perspective. They started idealizing slavery over their new freedom. They even went so far as to accuse Moses and Aaron of bringing them out there to die. But God's response wasn't anger.
Every single one of those illustrations were generated by AI without prompting. That voice was done without prompt. That's an AI voice, right? And so now you have the ability to create these video overviews where I use the whiteboard style. You can say you want any other visual style. You can actually have a very brief overview or a comprehensive overview, and then you can prompt it very specifically. Focus on the second point, talk about these 3 things. You can introduce something. You can actually guide that discussion. I'm hoping this is going to work again. Let's see if this works.
All right, if you're listening now, chances are you've got a specific mission, probably heading into a small group discussion soon.
Yep, and you want a solid refresher on Pastor Christian's sermon, God Provides Trustworthy.
Exactly. We're here to help with that. We want to quickly walk through the key parts, the stories, the scripture, the structure, so you feel really ready to jump into that conversation.
Mm-hmm. Not just knowing what he said, but the why behind it. It really all came down to that tension, didn't it? Between our own anxieties and needs.
Yeah, that gut level worry.
And how God actually provides. It's all about trust, really, that core idea.
Let's dive in right where Pastor Christian started. with that personal story. It was pretty powerful in setting the scene.
Oh, yeah, the rent story.
Oh, yeah. Right? So this is where we are. This is not the future, folks. This is 2025. It's a two-person discussion. They are talking over each other. They're interrupting. They're making jokes, right? They are mimicking the conversations you and I would have in a podcast studio about the topic, being directed specifically to talk about the things that I want and need out of that conversation based on the 1, 2, 10, 30, 50 sources that I directed to, right? And so all of a sudden, this becomes a massive learning tool. Recently, what I did is I wanted to figure out how to do some like gardening in the backyard, right? And so I went to YouTube and did a search and put in it was like 20 different videos on the topic, right? Because there's all these YouTubers that are teaching, but they have all these different angles. Well, I don't have time to just sit through every single one, right? You only go to the bathroom for a limited amount of time, right? Right? And so I put all the links in here and asked it to create a podcast and said, this is what I want to do in my backyard and this is what I need. And then all of a sudden, the podcast that got spit out is a tutorial that walks me through that. And then I can go back and prompt it that says, hey, there was this tip about this. Which video or where was that? And then I can go back and watch that long-form video, right? So this becomes a massive learning tool in so many different ways. Imagine if you did HR, all your HR topics and trainings or something, you put it in there and you make it interactive. Imagine if you did stuff for your youth group, right? Where you're actually teaching them stuff from multiple sources. You can bring outside sources. It doesn't have to be yours. Again, YouTube, PDFs, books, etc. And then ask it to you define the audience, right? So there's all these ways that you can use this specific tool. The audio and the video generation is incredible. Are there any authors in the room? Has anyone written a book here? Right? If you've written a book, every chapter should be put into here, and you should have a podcast discussing that specific chapter. So then all of a sudden you have a short form season of a podcast that discusses your book. And the invitation at the end of every episode is, if you like this, go buy the book, right? Or book a time with me, right? So there's all these ways that you have entry places into the ecosystem so that you actually build more relationships. I think the call to action is the most important part. How do you actually set it up so that the call to action is natural so that it becomes a relationship driver, right? So imagine on your, again, sermon archive page, imagine if you created, if there's a sermon with 3 points, you have 3 episodes, 1 point per episode. And then the call to action is like, hey, if you like to talk about this, grab a coffee and then go to this link, and it's your calendar link, right, to grab a coffee with you, right? That is a perfect way that's much more contextualized. You'll have an understanding of why they booked the call in the first place. Is it a sermon on forgiveness? Is it a sermon on anger? Is it a sermon on grief, right? You have a sense of why they are prompting the call and the invitation to go deeper, right? And I think that would be a much more productive way to actually use AI to, again, get the hooks for relationships. Okay, tool number 7 is a doozy. This category is the future. In the next 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, you're going to hear the word AI agent. Has anyone been playing with AI agents yet? Yes, tell me a little bit, what have you been doing? And you still came back. You didn't run away. So AI agents is your intern sitting at your desk with you, right? And so ChatGPT has an agent. It can go off and do things on the internet, and whatever you think is possible with an intern, you can now do with an intern. So Comet, there's ChatGPT put out a browser called Atlas, and Perplexity put out a browser called Comet. I personally like Comet better. There's some privacy issues with the ChatGPT version right now. But Comet this is what Comet looks like. It looks like a browser. It looks like a Chrome browser. In fact, it's built on the same engine as Chrome. The difference is it has this little button in the corner called Assistant. And when you open it up, it then has a chat bot, just like anything else, but it sees what you see on the browser. and it can control your keyboard or mouse at any time. So this is what I was like, hey, I'm thinking of visiting this church this weekend. And again, this is what your community members will be doing in the next 2, 3, 4 years. This will be normal, standard behavior. They're not going to do the Google research anymore. It's not search, it's synthesis. Hey, I'm thinking about visiting this church this weekend. Can you research on the site and pull together a briefing so I know what to expect? I have a 2nd grader, and I have an 8th grader kids. Give me directions. I live at the Courtyard Marriott Kitchener. That's where I was. Didn't give the address, right? It's a smart intern, I think. We'll see. And so, do you see the halo over the window? That means it's controlling my keyboard and mouse right now, and it's looking and reading everything that it sees. On the column on the right-hand side, the intern is giving me stream of consciousness of what it's actually doing. It's showing me its work. And so it's like, hey, let me explore the menu options to find more information about kids program, what to expect. And it's clicking on that, and it's clicking on that, and it's going down. Now this thing will go for 20 minutes on its own. 20 minutes. You have an intern that has an attention span of 20 minutes. That's more than more Gen Z out there, okay? This thing will get better. I was just at an AI conference where the guy said, imagine when your AI agent can work for 2 hours at a time. Guess what? They already have experimental stuff that's at 2 days that can work nonstop for 2 days like this, nonstop, reasoning on its own, making decisions on its own without you there. Imagine, he said, what happens when you can get to 2 weeks, 2 months autonomously. He said, that's where we are going. So look, it's already, my intern is looking at 17 different sources, hotel in Kitchener, Courtyard, it's looking for the address. Perfect. Now let me get more about the route. Now it's mapping. What a great intern. Right? Okay, and now it wrote the overview. It's welcoming, contemporary Anabaptist church, member of BIC. I don't know if this is true or not, right? Not all interns are not perfect, so you always have to double check their work. Service times are 10:30. Does anyone go to the church here? Anyone representing here? Is this right? 10:30. Does it end approximately 11:45? First of all, most church websites don't say that. As a visitor to a church, I always want to know how long the thing is, and it's never on a church website. I'm just letting you know. Right? So this is great. Arrival. Come 15 minutes early to find parking, sign in your kids, and get settled. Look at that. Dress code, service format. Again, I did not, you saw what I told the intern. I just gave it a task. This intern is an overachiever, right? So it's saying, hey, here's the format. 3 to 4 modern worship songs, announcements, 30. Is this written on your website? So it's literally done the research for me, right? So again, I am no longer searching. It is synthesizing and coming back, right? Alternatives, it's also streamed on YouTube. That's good to know. Okay, programs for the kids. Toddlers through grade 5, da-da-da-da. 8th graders. Oh, look at this. It even says, hey, son, your 8th grader would participate in the main service with you. There's a midweek program. And then there's, again, this one, it always wants to please me. It says additional programs. And so it's doing all this additional stuff. And now here is the turn-by-turn directions. I didn't ask for the phone number, contact information. It's giving me the full briefing as if I wanted everything, right? And here's your tips. Have a great weekend, right? And so this is just one of those things that I think you have the ability to go off and launch projects and things like that. Another thing, it opened up Google Maps. Look at this. It's 11 minutes from the hotel, and it already gave me the route from the hotel to here. Right? This is pretty incredible in my mind. Another thing that I did was, I was hungry in the morning, and I was like, hey, I just wanted onion rings. So can you order onion rings to the church? And then, okay, I did not say where the church was. And it found the address, 82 West Heights Drive. Is that the correct address? It must be. And it found the site. I was able to add large onion rings. It found the restaurants. It found the price. It went into Uber Eats because that restaurant did not have delivery. And then it ordered onion rings for me. And guess what? I actually forgot to turn it off this morning. because I was just testing. I'm from the United States. I didn't know if Uber Eats or DoorDash or that stuff works here, or if my account would work here. So I was just testing it, like the dry run. Totally forgot, because I was enamored by the handsomeness of Todd Lester, and I was just talking with him, and I totally forgot to turn it off. And then it got delivered. I got onion. Anyone need onion rings? And so this is literally the intern of the year, right? So now I want to see if it is onion rings, because sometimes it's wrong. No, it is onion rings. There's onion rings here. This is an example where it went off and actually did it. It's one of those things where I delegated to the intern. I forgot to check up on the intern, but the intern actually went and completed the task for me, right? We were in Kansas City. I did a similar thing. It could not find the address of the Kansas City Downtown Marriott. And so what it did is it went to the Chamber of Commerce instead of failing, and thought, oh, this might be part of the Chamber of Commerce. Let's go to the Chamber of Commerce, and let's try it there. Found the address. Couldn't find the restaurant in Uber Eats. Instead of abandoning, it went to DoorDash. Couldn't find it. Went to Grubhub, and then ordered it from Grubhub. And it has the reasoning to do that, right? So this is the type of things that I think is really important, that you can actually now go through these things and actually create really, I don't know, it's like your imagination is your limitation, right? And so I'll just give you one more. Where is, I can't find it right now. But basically, we did a whole thing where, here. So this is a thing that, and these can be set on automation, right? So for example, I'm trying to do a keto or carb-free diet or carb-low diet. I found a cauliflower pizza crust that I really like. It's really expensive, but it goes on sale sometimes at our local grocery store. There's a grocery store that's on the way from church to home. And apparently, according to my wife, all the sales start on Sunday, right? And so I set up a ChatGPT automation with an agent that says, go to ShopRite every Sunday morning at about 10 o'clock, do the research, find out if this specific SKU item is on sale, and usually it's like $15. Sometimes they go on sale for $4.99. That's a steal. And so only notify me if it's on sale at 10:15 a.m. on Sunday, right? Because that's when we get out of church and we're driving home. And so when I'm in the parking lot, some Sundays, once in a while, I'll get an alert, and ChatGPT says, hey, the agent checked the thing, and it's on sale. Guess what, honey? Why don't we stop by ShopRite on the way home and then buy out all of the crust in the world, right? So here's a very practical one. Research and create a list of family-friendly events within 30 minutes driving distance of West Heights Church. Include for each one name, URL, date, times, 3-sentence description, limit to the months of December. Imagine if you had a newsletter that went out to families in the community or posted as a blog or something every month of family-free events for the next month. Today's November. Imagine if you send this out once a month, and then you bake in your own stuff, right? Your own kids program stuff for the family here. And again, I can't verify these, but I did click through and all that kind of stuff. But Wonders of Winter, there's something downtown, right? There's these 3 things right now. And now I can go off and create a flyer, create a newsletter, or incorporate that in something that just helps and supports the families in the community. I can add 1 or 2 things from the church. Imagine if you did this on a regular basis. Imagine if you went into a community-based Facebook group and posted this once a month as a service to all the parents. I guarantee you that people would see you as a neighbor that's friendly, not a church that's just trying to get their money or get them to your church, right? And you're trying to be a resource. So this is the type of thing that I think in our world today, you can do things. Here's the last one. You can hook up your email, your Google Drive, etc. And so this is a task that I said recently, hey, can you scan my inbox for deadlines and flags anything that's due within before Monday, right? Because I want to make sure that I'm out of the office today. And so it will then now go in. It says, I can see your Gmail loading. Please let me fully load. It's looking at all my inbox. It's reading my email. And it's coming back with 1, 2, 3, 4 things, right? And so then it can go in and actually draft the responses for me if I wanted to, right? And so this is the future, right? You can say, find any open-ended questions that people are waiting for me on right now in my email inbox over the last 4 days. Right? And so it's taking over my browser. Again, this is live, so this is dangerous. Who knows? So it's navigating to my Gmail inbox, right? It's going to search. It tells me, it basically creates a project plan. The intern tells me the project plan. Now it's going into my inbox, right? It's going to let me search your inbox for these things. So it crossed it off. I navigated to the inbox. Now it's searching for emails with questions. It's looking for open-ended things that I owe other people responses, right? Good, I'm in Gmail. Now let me search for emails for the last 4 days since November 9th that contain question marks. Let me read this first place to get the correct reference. So it's going to go through and help me, right? This is the future. It can go through all of your files. I had 4 presentations that I talked about, X, Y, Z. I'd like to figure out what those things are. Can you extract the points from those Google slide presentations and put them into a Google Doc and synthesize it in terms of bullet points? And then can you go off and then go research and make sure that they're up to date, and that if they need to be updated, add new notes with links to the sources that you found the new information for? Done. So those are the types of things that you're doing. So this will go on and on and on. Okay. So that's agentic browsers. I think everyone should try the agentic browser, right? There's a waiting list. This is an invite. You can bypass it. And you can also get Perplexity Pro. Perplexity is Google plus ChatGPT if they had a baby. Perplexity is the chatbot that has made Comet. The reason why I like Perplexity is because you do a search and you ask for questions. It will give you links to all the sources that it came from. So you can check, do the fact checking and see if it hallucinated or not. If you need a bibliography, it gives you links for all that kind of stuff. So Comet is the browser that is basically a Chrome browser with Perplexity baked into it, with the agent capabilities to be able to do things. There are people that I just saw someone find all the job listings that are available in their city, and then uploaded their own resume and said draft cover letters and fill out the applications for all of them. And it took every one of them, opened up the website, went to the application, filled out all the information, uploaded the resume for every single job application, right? So it is now an autonomous intern that you're able to do all these things for. Okay, the last one, this is a bonus. I said 7, here's a bonus, is graphic design. This is a very, very practical one. Some of this stuff is a little bit of a novelty. I do think the Comet thing, everyone in this room should really be thinking about it because that is the future. But Typeset and Gamma are design software that everyone can use. In fact, my whole presentation was designed by Gamma. All I did was put in the text, and everything else, graphics, structure, was done by Gamma. And so Gamma is the name of the software. Let me just show you Gamma. So this is Gamma. Actually, let's go to ChatGPT. You don't really need to, but create a slide outline to talk about the best parts and history of Kitchener in Canada for a new moving family into the town. I don't know. Okay. So the whole point is not the point is not the actual contents, but you could create a training doc on anything. You could take your sermon, you could take anything, any topic, anything that you wanted to teach, right? And so let's just take the first couple slides. So I'm gonna take slide 1, let's just take 10. Let's take 10 slides. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into Gamma, and then I'm gonna create a new one. Now, you could generate the prompt here, but I'm just gonna paste in the text. I'm gonna paste in our text here, and then I'm gonna generate that exact one. It can make it better, more detailed, etc. But it parsed out the slides on the right-hand side. You can edit every single one of these things. So like, let's get rid of that, right? And then you can say, oh, what is the type of theme, design theme? You want it black, you want it nice and light, right? What type of theme? So you pick any of these styles. And then images, do you want stock photography? Do you want illustration, line art, abstract, 3D? Let's do 3D. I don't know what that is. Okay, and so you can do specific things and you click. Now it's going to look at the content on each slide. Now I see this outline. It's not that diverse, but it's going to understand what type of, like, say there's 2 boxes, or this is a timeline, so it knows it's a timeline. It actually figures out what layout for each slide is contextual for the content on that slide, right? And then because we said we wanted the 3D art, you can see on the left-hand side, it is now generating the art that is contextualized for the text on each of those slides. So if we go back, we have a background. Here, let me present it. Overview. Here's a brief history. 1800s, World War I, today, cultural influences, family-friendly neighborhoods, schools and education, right? So you can imagine all these things. Yeah. Okay, so we don't like that, right? So what you do is you click in here, you edit the image, right? Is there an Oktoberfest here? Oh, okay. Well, let's make it photorealistic, and let's generate 3 different versions. There is an Oktoberfest. Oh, really? Okay. So it has different versions. Now, if you notice, you saw the theme that I picked. It used the theme style. So it created these AI images and matched the style of the theme, right? That's why they have the LED lights and stuff like that. If I uncheck it and try it again, let's just see what we get. Again, do you see it's all integrated? It's right in there. If you wanted to do your own photographs, if you wanted to upload stock photography, right? So it will create AI images for other things as well, right? And you can go to town. You can do line art. There's all these different things that you can do right there in the presentation. So I'm at the point now that I'm producing rapid fire trainings, going to Zoom, screen share, record, and ship it to my team or clients or other people. That now you can, now at scale, right? This is line art, right? You now have something that you could actually, on a regular basis, produce content, right? Now, the other thing is, if you want to share, let me go back. Create new. I know we're a little bit over time. Let's do this. This can create social media. I think we're out of time. I'm looking at the clock. We're a little bit out of time. It can create social media. It can create websites. That can be a whole website. You can have Oktoberfest here, and you can actually create a whole website with a form and a sign up and all that kind of stuff. So there's tons of things that you can do. Again, I think this is just one of those things where on a regular basis, right? So this is another presentation I did recently. It knew that the concept of the iceberg that I was teaching here, like, we only do the tip of the iceberg. There's all this stuff that are superpowers of ChatGPT. It understood, it makes all of these graphics based on the context of the information on the slide, right? And so now everybody is able to, this democratization of being able to communicate is the power that I think every church needs to take care of. Whether you are a small church of 30 or a big church of 3,000, this is the future of what everyone is able to do. Okay, so the last thing, we talked about policies, and so I added as a slide. We have a resource that's coming out in December. It's not available now. You can go there, but if you sign up, it's going to be launched in December. But it's AI policies. So we have a 4-part framework to walk through the core concepts of what you should be answering. Every church needs to answer specific questions about ethics and attribution and training and budget and all that kind of stuff. And so we're making that available at AI Policies Made Simple. Okay. Todd, Q&A? Is that, I think we're at the Q&A portion.
Yeah. Any questions for Kenny? So much to think about here. Anything you want to ask of him before we have our small groups here? guess you've covered it all. Oh, over here. Kenny, where do they get more? If they want to follow along with you and know what you're doing, I know I've seen you online blogging.
Yes.
Where would that be?
So I created this with AI this morning. Where are we? We're in Be in Christ. Nope, not Be in Church. You should be in church, but let's go to Be in Christ. Yeah. So if you go to churchtechtoday.com/Be in Christ, that's the QR code. That QR code will bring you back to this page. But the URL is churchtechtoday.com/Be in Christ. That should make sense to everyone here. And then basically, I have all of my socials that we can get connected. And then there's a bunch of resources down the page. The one that I'll call out is our Facebook group. We have a Facebook group of 7,400 something. I don't want to be a pastor quoting Easter numbers, so I'll just be ambiguous. We have a lot of people. And so that's the place you should get plugged into. We surface, videos and tutorials and questions and answers. That's the number one place. But there's all these other resources there. Links to some of the tools, like Fathom, Sermon Shots, Sora, Comment, etc. It's all on this page. So if you just bookmark this page, churchtechtoday.com/Be in Christ, you'll be able to connect with me and get some other resources.
Thank you. Okay, question.
Yeah, just a quick question. Thank you. When it comes to confidentiality and you're loading all this stuff into their websites, are you concerned about the content that's on the web now? Because I know for my work, we have to be very careful with trade secrets, say whatever, that we're using, trying to figure out solutions. Can't put clients' names, can't put a lot of things. So how do you do with that with this?
Yeah, so again, that's why you need a policy, because there are people that just don't understand those types of issues. Typically, you don't want to put things we call PII, right, personal identifying information. So you want to be able to anonymize things. So there's a couple different ways. So for example, if I had a spreadsheet of the giving data with your name on it, I would add another column, number it, serialize it, delete the name, upload that spreadsheet, and then if I need to tie back, right, I got that example, say there's 10 people that I want to follow up with, then I have numbers, then I can go back to my manual spreadsheet and figure out who the people are, right? And so you do want to anonymize stuff. There's privacy concerns with all these tools. I think that's just one of those things that you have to mitigate contextually with every organization, but in general, personal identifying information you don't want to put into these tools, right? The general rule of thumb I say is, would you be okay with it being published on Reddit? Then put it into the chatbot, right? If not, don't put it into the chatbot. I think the future, just a side note is, future is there are ways to download a version of ChatGPT or these tools and have it local on your machine, so it's not connected to the internet, it's not using all that kind of stuff, and so that is fully private. That's the future. Everyone's going to have their own AI localized for their own church, their organization, their own personal, right? My son, who's not even that nerdy, he's not a computer science major, he wants to, on Christmas break, he wants to install and download ChatGPT of the localized version at home, and just to see how it works. And so I think that is the future.
Apple's promising localized LLMs by next spring, so
Yes.
that'll be an option for all the iPhone users, Apple users.
Yeah, what Apple is doing is very interesting. They are taking, it's a profound approach where they're making it part of the ecosystem and that safety stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, just with your, thanks again for great presentation today. In the sense of the consent, the issue of consent with your note-taking apps,
Yeah.
do people know you're recording them? Like, are you required ethically to let everyone know in your meeting, hey guys, this is being recorded? Like, is that something you do, or does everyone just know you do it?
It depends on the tool. So some tools actually physically join the call, so you can see Fathom there. So sometimes the joke is we have more note takers than there are people in this meeting, right? It's like, that is the future. But some of these tools don't. They are just using your microphone, et cetera. That's where ethics comes into play. And typically you have, I mean, I don't think you have to, but I think you should disclose it, the norms. Now, so for example, my internal team, my staff, I don't say it because that's just the norm. We just assume everyone is taking notes to be able to do that. In fact, I expect note takers to be. That's the culture internally in my organization, because I know we are better leaders when we have that type of tool. So I think there is that disclosure issue. Yeah, that's the thing. Now, I will say on the other side, you should never go to any online meeting and say anything that you don't want recorded. You should just assume that everything is being recorded now. And now there are these note AI pins and wearables is another category. So people and meta glasses, and you need to assume, this is for everybody, you just need to assume you are now being recorded anywhere and everywhere, everything. There's pros and cons of that. One, I think it's gonna have a little bit more integrity of everybody a little bit on their toes and best behavior. I think you're gonna see a lot of people get caught on that because, right, we're not perfect all the time. But yeah, I think you have to assume everything is being recorded at this point. That was a downer. We gotta finish on an up note. No one chuckled at my, look at this.
Oh, I was showing it to Chris. Do not worry. I found it very funny. You gave us a lot of tools, a lot of options, and a key phrase that you said was, wherever your imagination can take you, AI can help. My imagination's very large. I could easily spend the next full-time work week just on AI stuff, but my boss wouldn't let me. So if there was one tangible step that you've noticed in your Facebook group of 7,000 members that they're like, this is the step that if my church hadn't started doing, that, like, what's the one step, what's the one goal that anyone here take away that you would hope would look into, implement?
Yeah, so it is spending, and so I think the smart leaders or smart teams are actually almost mandating that you put half an hour, whatever period, every month, every other week, every week for the next, like do a sprint. Can you do it half hour every day for the next 10 days? And just start experimenting with tools. To answer your question more specifically, start with square one. Don't be overwhelmed, start with one tool. The one tool that I think you should start with right now is ChatGPT. It is one of the most versatile. It has the most, momentum behind it. I would argue that you pay for the pro version. It's a whopping $20 a month. I think the value you get out of that is way further than $20 a month. In fact, I've been on calls where people have had me try to convince their boss to pay for it, and I have a 0 fail rate, because basically we come down to say, hey, Sarah, what is she being paid? What is that per hour? And then we look at, what would you use it for, Sarah? Would you save half an hour, 1 hour? How many hours a month would you save or leapfrog in terms of the type of work that you do? And is it worth $20? And can you find $20, right? And this is where I think also, if you have, and this is like, I guess ironic, there have been times where it's the older generation that doesn't have AI adoption are willing to fund that ChatGPT $240 a year for the staff to actually learn and use and have access to that, because they appreciate and understand what it takes for the future of ministry. And so that it's a directed giving type of conversation, but it's that I think there are people that are inspired by technology and they want to see my church thrive in this area. And if it's only $20, I'm willing to sacrifice $20 to give it so that the staff can actually flourish in this area. And so I think that is one of those things where they might be the donors might be penny pinchers in other areas, but this might be a place of inspiration. But ChatGPT is the first place. That's the number one easiest place to start.
It's $20 US per month. It's $90 a month Canadian.
Yes, sorry.
No,
yes,
I think it's 30. I'm pretty sure it's 30.
Yeah.
Yeah. 30 Canadian.
30 Canadian. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
20 US. Yes. But there's a free version. So you start with the free version, but I'm telling you the pro version is...
Pro version is worth it.
Yes.
Yes. Good advice.
What else? Any other questions?
This has been fantastic. We're going to do table discussions. You'll stay around for a bit, but I know you get a flight later, so we don't want you to miss the flight.
Yes.
And don't forget your onion rings too, so yeah. Anyhow, thanks for being here. You're such a good explainer, teacher. And I think you're pushing us into the future, which we need.
Yes.
It's we're shepherds, we're pastors, we love people. That's what we signed up for. Some of this stuff is harder for us, but it's important, and I think you made a really great case for why we need to lean in here and not miss the opportunities that it presents.
Yeah, let me just end on this one note for Sarah and for everybody. Start with the with them, the what's in it for me. Don't get overwhelmed with what we can do with ministry. So start with something super practical that you need to do this weekend at home. Are you reading a book? Ask about the book. Ask about the characters. Are you watching something on Netflix? Ask about the background, the plot, or something like that. Is there a hobby? Like, is there something in your daily living, the what's in it for me, of personal interest? Start to have the conversation about that topic with ChatGPT. And you don't need to know it all. It's the perfect intern. So you can say, I want to start to have this conversation about, I don't know, this eggplant that my wife bought and I'm supposed to cook. I don't know where to start. What should I be asking? You can ask the intern what you should be asking and start the conversation there. I guarantee you, once you start to see the response and the conversation, the relationship that you can have on the what's in it for me stuff, that you'll start to be able to imagine what you can do for the work stuff. And so that's where you need to almost break ChatGPT. Like, there's no way ChatGPT is going to be helpful in closet organization. My wife is telling me all my clothes is on the floor. I need to be more organized in my closet. There's no way. Test it. Prove me wrong. Guarantee you every single time it comes out and it will actually be relevant, interesting, and you're going to increase your curiosity once you see that. So that would be the first step.
May I leave you with one last question? The be in Christ, we're sort of we're in the middle ground between maybe the Reformed mainline church, right? We're something different. Maybe you picked up on that. In our context, when you bring up this, there's going to be people who are going to express like the environmental concern.
Yes.
So just maybe prepare us for when we get that question. If you're not aware, I mean, this takes huge amounts of electricity. It's mind-bending when you read about how much electricity is used when you're using ChatGPT. Like, so I have mixed feelings.
Yeah.
Can you talk to that?
Yeah, and I would challenge people to ask ChatGPT today about that, pros and cons and stuff. So, but the net of it is, I'm being very serious, like, right? We literally should go and ask about what is this issue, right? So, and again, I'm gonna model like what I'm talking about. So I would literally go to ChatGPT, right, and say, my friend Todd just talked to me about all these big issues that might come up about all this AI stuff and how much energy it's using or electricity, and that there are people in our congregation and communities that might be worried about this, and I should be prepared. And so, like, what is this all about? I have no idea. Can you talk to me as if I'm a fifth grader and just explain what the issues are, what the objections are, the pros and cons? How can I be thoughtful in responding to someone who brings this up to me? Right? So do you see my natural language that I'm talking to as if it's an intern? Like, I'm just dumping on the intern and giving them the pressure to figure it out. I'm not figuring it out, right? I have an intern, right? You want to abuse your intern. And so, right? This is the one time it's okay. Right? And the only difference is between this intern and the offline intern is this is unlimited good attitude, right? And so, here, look. It's giving you a simple explanation, what people are worried about, why some people support it, why some people object, balance pros and cons, and then you can go and actually ask the intern for follow-up. Thoughtful ways.
Well played. You are a true professional. Nice. There you go.
It even gave you analogies that I could be smart in front of my people.
Yep.
Right? Like.
Yep. As an application right there,
Yes.
the AI.
Yes. So again, try to break it, right? Throw it anything you can. It's basic, and especially if you have the $20 version, it has access to big things. You can do deep research. This is the intern you wish you had. That's the tagline of ChatGPT. The intern you wish you had. Okay.
Okay, let's, you got some questions? Perfect. Let's break into groups again. Doesn't have to be the same groups, but it can be the same groups. I'll leave you to figure that out. Same format as before. We'll do this for about 15 minutes, and we'll reconvene. Thank you.